Good morning. Owen and tonight with you at 9:17. We are breaking into the Today Show this morning to bring you continuing coverage of the explosion at a business in Northwest Houston this morning, something that rattled folks' windows and neighborhoods at 4:30 in the morning.
That's what we know. Right now, we know one person was injured, taken to an area hospital. One person was still unaccounted for. Again, we are waiting for this news conference to update us more on that individual, so we'll have more information on that, hopefully, when officials speak to us in just a few moments. Again, this happened at 4:30 this morning. Let's listen in right now. They are going live to that presser.
Since we last spoke, we have our hazmat crews. We have our fire department rescue crews that have canvassed the neighborhood to the west of the location that was damaged. We've searched about 181 to 190 homes. Some of them are off the foundation, the ones especially that are closer to the explosion site. We also have a temporary shelter set up on Shadowdale.
4703.
4703 Shadowdale. It's the Church of Latter-day Saints. We've set up a temporary shelter location for any people that may be displaced. There is some significant damage to a lot of the homes that were adjacent to the explosion site. At this point, we're waiting for the final fire area to burn off. What we don't want to do is go in there and put water, because now we're concerned with runoff and other hazards. So it's contained. It's not going to spread, but we're waiting for that thing to burn off before we put our folks in there to do our primary and our secondary search of that facility. We do have damage to the a strip mall that's adjacent to the building as well, significant damage. And we are in the process of doing our primary searches in those locations as well. Okay?
En español, por favor.
En español. Mire, lo que hemos hecho desde la última vez que hablamos es que ahorita hemos accesado casi 180, 190 hogares que están al oeste de este local, y el daño es significante a la estructura. Tenemos un shelter temporal para poner las personas que hemos evacuado de esos lugares. Está en el 4700, la cuadra 4700 de la calle Shadowdale, y ahí vamos a tener a las personas hasta que podamos encontrar recursos adicionales para ellos. En el local todavía hay un incendio pequeño. Vamos a esperar hasta que se extinga ese incendio para poder entrar y accesar el daño. Okay? Right.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to give you an update. First of all, I want to thank the Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Martin, who's here with us, and he'll speak here in a minute after I give you an update. I'm going to give you an update on the police department's role in this incident and where we're going from here. First and foremost, I wanted to let you know that we do have confirmed fatalities. In this case, at least 2 confirmed fatalities. Houston Police Department has initiated a criminal investigation along with HFD arson. This will be a multi-agency, multidisciplinary investigation. But let me just say right off the bat, we have no reason to believe, we have no evidence at this point that terrorism is involved. We don't have any evidence that an intentional act is involved. Having said that, when you have this type of incident, part of our protocol is to always conduct a criminal investigation. The Houston Police Department Homicide Division, Environmental Crimes Division are here with Houston Fire Arson. We have started a joint investigation, and at the request of myself and Chief Pena, we have asked the ATF, which is the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. I want to thank Fred Melanowski, who's the SAC here, and the director of the ATF, Director Lombardo. They have, at our request, authorized their response with the National Response Team of the ATF, who will be on the ground here in Houston sometime today. This investigation will be multi-agency, multidisciplinary, and it will take probably in the immediate area of the blast where the business was located. That will be probably processed for at least more than likely up to 4 to 5 days. So that immediate investigation processing of that scene will take several days. So that immediate location will be under police containment and control for the upcoming days. I have contacted Kim Ogg. One of her deputy district attorneys is here that will provide some of the legal oversight, prosecutorial oversight for us and support. I want to thank Kim Ogg for that support and for immediately responding her unit. It's important to note we now have roving patrols in the neighborhoods that will be looking for anyone trying to loot any of these homes that have been evacuated or damaged. If you are caught looting this home, you will be charged to the full extent of the law. Understand that. You will not be given a slap on the wrist. I want you to think back to Hurricane Harvey when we caught somebody looting and they were sentenced to 20 years in prison. This is in essence a disaster area right now with this explosion. And word to the wise: do not get caught looting, because it will not be a slap on the wrist. We will be out here for several days. What we want the public to do for us as part of our investigation with HFD, ATF, and HPD is, if you felt the blast, we know that this is a very powerful blast. When you have time, do a search around your own home, in your own neighborhood, even if you're a mile away from this location. Look for any debris, any body parts, anything that may be related. If you find anything in your immediate home, in your yard, don't touch it. Just call the Houston Police Department so we can respond. But for at least a mile, or if you felt it, we'd rather you be safe in terms of, we want to make sure that we conduct a very thorough investigation. So please search your homes, and if you can, take a look at your roof. What we're doing right now from the police department, we've actually had to get some of our employees to bring in their own personal drones to actually start looking at rooftops in the vicinity. We've started a grid search for evidence that will probably take several hours, if not the rest of today, and that grid search is ongoing. So with that, in Spanish, el Departamento de Policía de Houston, con nuestros colegas de los investigadores de arson del Departamento de Bomberos.
Okay. We're listening to Chief Acevedo right now bring us an update on the blast this morning in Northwest Houston. That's
right. Chief Acevedo just said there are 2 confirmed deaths right now. He said multiple agencies are going to be investigating this explosion that happened in Northwest Houston this morning. They say, though, they do not suspect terrorism, but of course multiple agencies will be investigating. They did say, or Chief Acevedo did say, if you are caught looting these homes, you will be charged. He said during Harvey, they caught someone looting the homes. That person was sentenced to 20 years. So again, stay away from these homes. A lot of them have blasted out windows. Their garage doors are blasted out too. So they're essentially pretty open.
Well, we did hear from neighbors this morning that a lot of them were worried about leaving their homes in that condition, basically wide open. So to that point, the chief mentioned they'll have extra patrols in there. And for neighboring businesses, it's going to be a few days. That's an investigation zone now. So the work definitely continues. I think the one part of the piece of new information in terms of the neighborhoods that this stuck out to me was this morning. Yes, we had heard about potential structural damage, but we had never heard the expression homes off of their foundations, which, you know, it obviously indicates the reasons why they asked folks to leave this morning. It was a lot more than just blown out windows very close to that blast site.
They said, again, Chief Acevedo said, check your homes. If you felt that blast, check your homes. They said they're going to have drones going up to check the roofs of these homes. But they say if you do find anything there suspicious or you really don't know what it is, they said don't touch it. They ask you to call police. Again, another big takeaway from this, Chief Acevedo said there are 2 confirmed deaths at this point.
So we'll wait while we identify those folks and get more on the investigation. This is, in fact, a disaster area, and we'll continue to follow updates from local law enforcement. What's the plan here, folks? We're going to go back to the Today Show? We're going to stay with okay, because we're going to wait for the mayor pro tem. The mayor's at the mayor's conference in Washington, D.C. Sylvester Turner, his honor is not in town, which is why the mayor pro tem's there behind. But anyway, we wanted to sort of give you the update and all the information we know. And now I understand the mayor pro tem is about to speak. Chief's taking some questions. Let's see what's happening here.
We've got family members here. We've got victim services here. But that's part of the ongoing investigation. Again, it is going to take days, if not weeks and months, to have a final determination of what we've got going on here. Anything else from the investigation?
Rapidito, usted acaba de describir una escena quizás bastante fuerte para las personas que están escuchando cuando usted habla de que se encuentra alguna parte de algún
Si
cuerpo.
encuentran una parte-
¿Cómo es? Descríbanos qué es lo que ven ahí ustedes.
Cualquier cosa que usted ve, acuérdese que estas explosiones son tienen mucho poder. Si usted, aunque esté a una milla de aquí, por favor, mire su casa, mire afuera. Si ve algo, no lo toque, llame al 911 para poder llamar oficiales para allá. Okay? No, we don't have that number.
Por favor, jefe, nada más al principio nosotros nos perdimos porque no ubicábamos este lugar para la prensa.
Ok, yo le dije allá que estábamos aquí.
No.
Sí, se lo dije, pero está bien.
Ok, adelante.
Okay.
Dos.
Por favor.
No,
nada
we'll
más.
do that separate. I'm not going to repeat everything I just said, so you're going to have to do a side view.
Ok.
Okay, sorry.
Para la gente que todavía son 2 personas muertas.
Sabemos que tenemos por lo menos 2 personas han aparecido.
Cuando estamos hablando de por lo menos podrían haber más.
Claro que sí. No sabemos. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, Dave Martin, Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Houston. Mayor Turner is out of town. He's attending the U.S. Conference of Mayors in D.C. We have been in constant communication with the mayor since 4:30 this morning. The city has set up temporary shelters, as was mentioned, at 4703 Shadowdale. That is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Metro is sending buses as we speak to Gessner and Tanner for transportation to the shelters. We know that several houses have been affected, so we are trying to work at this moment to set up some shelter as well as permanent housing for these folks so they can migrate from the shelter over to housing. So we know that's very important to those folks. So bear with us. We're working on that as we speak, and we'll have some more information later on today.
Chief Peña, I know you said that you weren't going to cut off gas. Can you give any more details as far as what you needed to cut off, what's affecting your airplanes that are still going?
Right.
And you said that it was contained, but can you give us any more details?
Yes, I can tell you that at this time, the members of the hazmat crew have gone in and they have secured the valving that was supplying the propylene gas that was leaking into the facility that was damaged. That has been secured. Fire department crews have assured that the area of concern is isolated. We do have a small area that still has some fire burning, but it's been decided to let that burn off on its own. What we don't want to do is go in there and add water and then create other hazards. So we're monitoring. We're going to wait for that area to be secured and extinguished, and then we're going to proceed in with fire department crews, investigators, members of the police department to ensure that we're doing our primary searches, and it's an active crime scene as well. So the debris area is about at least a quarter mile, okay? And so again, I just want to reiterate what Chief Acevedo said is if you find any evidence in your yards as you're outside, please do not touch. Call 911 so we can get people out there to ensure that we're conducting this appropriately. This is going to be a long-term incident. Okay, we're going to be out here for several days, but for right now, what we can assure the public is that the hazard has been contained. We have secured the leak from the polypropylene or the propylene tank, and we have no indications of any concerns with the air quality at this time.
Chief,
Okay?
just mentioned it, but can you confirm the actual, I guess, the propylene, that it was propylene?
Propylene, exactly. We had a tank full of propylene. It's a 2,000 gallon tank of propylene that has been secured. And so we don't have an active leak at this moment, but we do have some areas that still have some fire, and we're choosing just to monitor those and contain those until they burn themselves out. That's the proper practice.
Jefe Peña, en español, por favor.
People in the area have been concerned if they are going to have another explosion. Podríamos tener otra explosión. Hay gente que tiene esa preocupación en el área.
Look, at this time we have no indications of...
Spanish, he's Spanish. 45.
A este momento no tenemos indicación que el producto se esté acumulando en cualquier lugar, ¿sí? No tenemos esa indicación, así es que no tenemos indicaciones que vaya a haber otra explosión. A este momento lo que estamos haciendo es los fuegos leves, chicos que están en el área, los vamos a dejar que se extingan solos. Lo que no queremos hacer es poner agua en esos asuntos porque después creamos otros problemas. Así es que en este momento está la emergencia contenida, ¿sí? Y cuando los incendios estén extinguidos, entonces vamos a entrar para conducir nuestra investigación.
Solo fue
Yes.
un tanque que explotó.
No fue un tanque que explotó. El tanque era de 2,000 galones. El tanque tenía un producto, el propylene, y el tanque estaba llevando el producto a la área que fue dañada. Okay?
Let me add one last thing, Chief. If you have family members or a friend that live in the immediate vicinity that you have not heard from or you can't get a hold of, please don't hesitate to call us so we can do a secondary search or make an attempt to go to the location where they're supposed to be. So if you don't hesitate to call 911, the Houston Fire and Police, so we can go back and do a secondary search and look for your loved one.
Are people still unaccounted for?
I don't know. We don't know. So sometimes you don't know what you don't know, but we know that our greatest force multiplier in law enforcement is the community we serve. And so if you have friends or family that you've tried to contact in the immediate area that near this blast zone, you all know where it's at, please contact us so we can go back to where they live. And we can do a secondary search.
Las personas desaparecidas.
La persona, si tiene familiar o amistad que vive en esta área donde ocurrió esto, que no puede estar en contacto con ellos, por favor, llámenos para poder buscarlo de nuevo, estar seguro que no hay una persona que no hemos encontrado que es una víctima.
Las personas desaparecidas de las que hablan trabajaban dentro del
No sabemos. We're not going to talk about that because that's part of the ongoing investigation.
All right,
Okay,
you were
thank
just
you all very
listening
much.
live to officials about that explosion that happened in Northwest Houston this morning. Again, Chief Acevedo confirmed 2 people dead, and as you just heard, they don't know how many are still unaccounted for at this point right now.
Yeah, it's earlier in the day we had 1 person missing, but with the number now of 2 dead, it's just going to be a matter of time until folks reach out to loved ones who may live or work in that area to see what happens. This is a disaster area that will be, well, locked down, let's just say, for the next 4 or 5 days.
Definitely for a little bit. And they said one other thing to mention, they said they're not concerned right now about the air quality because that was a concern that a lot of people have. They said the valves are sealed, and as of right now, they said they are not concerned about the air quality. So a lot of people have been calling our newsroom and tweeting asking about that.
And in that case, you know, not concerned with any further explosions, although they're going to let the fire burn out just in case. That's it for now. We're going to head back to the Today Show. If there's another breaking update that we need to bring you, we won't hesitate to jump right in. So keep it here with KPRC Channel 2, all of our social networks as well, with live feeds here throughout the day to keep you informed.
Yes, we'll see.
This has been breaking news. For continuing coverage, go to click2houston.com.